interface. So entire session took to develop this user interface. I have just changed the image. So I want you guys to change this category names also. Just add some category names, which you will find in your e-commerce websites, different category names, and just add different numbers of products. Okay, so it looks little unique. And anyways, this UI we created day before yesterday. And this kind of navbar we have created multiple times. Okay, so we were able to create this one. Apart from that, I have just introduced about position concept. Positions in CSS. Like we have discussed what is the purpose of these positions, right? We have discussed about purpose of this position concept. Okay, and we have discussed what are the different values we can assign to this position property. So did you guys remember how many values we can assign to this position property, or what are the different positions available in CSS? Yes, there are totally 5. Okay, 5 positions. That is static, relative, absolute, sticky, and you have fixed. And static is the default position of each and every element. Static means you cannot move your element from its original position. Okay, so to move your elements from its original positions, then we have 4 properties. Okay, to assign its position, we have 4 properties that are left, right, bottom, and top. So using these 4 properties, we can just move our element from one position to another position. Okay, so by default, all the elements default position value is static. So in your interviews, they will ask, what is the default position of your HTML elements? So it's a static. Static means we cannot move our HTML element. Now, if you remember, yesterday we have created one container like this, right? So in today's session also, we will create one container like this. So to create like this container, I'm just taking, so let me close all this. I'm taking a file, something called position.html. Okay, creating the basic structure of our HTML document. Inside that, I want one container. I have taken one container. So to this container, I have to assign some styles. So for that, I'm taking a style tag, selecting this container. In that, I am assigning the width to 800 pixel, height to 400 pixel, and margin something like 50 pixel auto. And here I can add border, 2 pixel solid, something like green I will add. Now if I just open this document in my browser, it looks something like this. Okay, it looks something like this. Now inside this container, I want to add one box. Inside this container, I want to just add one box. Let's suppose I am adding one box. Now to this box, I want to assign some width like 100 pixel and height like 100 pixel. Okay, I just want to assign one box, and we will have some height and width to that box. So here inside this container, I am taking one box. Okay, something like box. To this box, I will add some basic styles like width can be something like 100 pixel, height can be 100 pixel, and background color. Okay, something I am adding like light salmon. Just adding some background color. Now we got one box here. Okay, so one setup is ready. Now by default, all your elements position is static. Now here this box element position is also static. So if they are static, and if you want to move your element from its original position, then we cannot move. For example, let's suppose this box I want to move. This box I want to move something like, maybe I want to move this box like this. I want to move maybe 100 pixel from left I want to move. So if you want to move 100 pixel left, then we have a property called left property. So if I go and use here, if I say left, move this element left, how much left we have to move means 100 pixel. If I say 100 pixel, the element will not move. By default, element will not move. Now see that element is not moving 100 pixel from left. Now why element is not moving? Because by default, the position of your element is static. So here, even if you add position static, it means your element is not going to move. And if you are not adding any position property, by default, it will consider position value as a static. That is the reason your element is not moving. If you want to move your element from its original position or from its position, then you have to make that element as a relative, absolute, fixed, or sticky. One of the value you have to assign. Suppose here if I am assigning relative, then I will be able to move my element. Now see my element is moving. Okay, it is moving 100 pixel towards right, nothing but from left. Okay, this is what we have discussed in the last session. This is what we have discussed in the last session. Now let's try to understand about this relative, absolute, sticky, fixed effects. Let's understand about the effects of all these values. So first we will discuss about the relative. Okay, if you assign any element position as a relative, if you assign any element position as a relative, then first of all, that particular element will be displayed. Element will be displayed as per normal flow of document. First of all, element will be displayed as per normal flow of document. Okay, it means suppose if I take one document, and in this document, suppose if I place one element, let's suppose here I am placing one H2. I am placing one H2. After that H2, let's suppose I am placing one paragraph. I'm just placing one paragraph like this. After that, if I place my image, now all this element will come one after another. Okay, because they are displayed as per normal flow of document. Now, if I make the position of this element, if I assign the position property to this element as a relative, so by default, it will place in the normal flow of document only. Now, from normal flow of document only, so its position will not change. Now, if I want, I can change the position of this image. If I want to change the position of image, then I have to take the help of that 4 properties: left, right, top, bottom. Now, suppose if I say left 100 pixel. Now, in this case, what happens? This image will move from left. How much it will move means it will move 100 pixel from left. Now, to move this element 100 pixel left, it should consider some reference point. From there only it should move 100 pixel left. So the original position of this element is this one. Left is displaying here. So from here, this element will move 100 pixel. From its original position only, it will move 100 pixel. Okay. So if I come back here, now this is my box. Okay, let me just remove these values now. Okay, for my box, for this box, the original position, left position is this one. Okay, left position is this one. So from here, it will move 100 pixel. So if I say here, position, relative, and if I say here left, 100 pixel, then that element will move 100 pixel. Okay, from here it is moving. Remember that one. From here, it is moving 100 pixels. Now, suppose if I remove this left, now my element will come in its original position. Let me clear all this. Now, suppose if I say 100 pixel right, 100 pixel right. Now, can you guys tell me what will be the reference point? This particular line will be the reference point, or it will be the reference point. So let's consider this is 1, this is 2. So tell me, this box will consider which line as a reference point to move 100 pixel right. So this 1, or it will consider this 2. Yeah. So everybody will think 1, but it will not consider 1. It will consider this line 2. It means now this part. Now, if I say right 100 pixel, from here, it will move 100 pixel. From here, if it is moving 100 pixel means this line will come here. So just check here. If I say here, right 100 pixel. Now see, from here, it is moving 100 pixel. So this part came here. Understood? Suppose if you think from here, it will move 100 pixel means from here, you will get 100 pixel space, then your element should start somewhere here. It should place somewhere here. If it was its base point. Okay, this is very, very important, guys. Here people will get confused. Okay, now suppose if I remove right also, now if I just clear this diagram, if I go back here, okay, now suppose if I am saying top 100 pixel, so from where it will move? It will move from here, or it will move from here. So from here, it will move, or from here it will move. So from which point it will consider? So here we have two lines. Okay, let's suppose this is one line. Okay, and then I have one more line like this. Now tell me, if I say here top 100 pixel. Okay, let me remove this. Now here let me say top 100 pixel. I will not save the file so that you will not have that effect. Now see, now tell me from where it will move. Which line it will consider as a reference point? Red line it will consider as a reference point, or yellow line it will consider as a reference point? Okay, now if I go back here and if I save, which line it is considering as a reference point? Here see, we got 100 pixel space. So red line is considered as a reference point because you told top, right? From top it will move. So from top it will move. Now suppose if I say bottom, if I go back here, now it is in the original position. If I say bottom 100 pixel, then tell me which line it will consider as a reference point? Red line or yellow line? Yes, it will consider yellow line. Now if I go back and save my file, and if I just go back, now see 100 pixel. Okay, so its bottom was here. So from here, 100 pixel space it generated, not space. It did not generate space. It just moved 100 pixel. Okay, this is very, 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 very important. So now, whenever you say position relative, and if you assign position relative to any element, then its original position will be considered as a reference point. Suppose okay, let's suppose this is my element. Now for this element, the original positions are these lines. For top, this is the original position. From top is starting from here. Okay, bottom is starting from here. So if bottom, for bottom, this is the reference point. For left, this is the reference point. For left, this is the reference point. And for right, this is the reference point. Okay. Now, if you say your element should move 100 pixel left, then this will be reference point. From here, it will move 100 pixel left. Suppose if you say 100 pixel right, then this line, this point will be considered as a reference point. So from here, it will move 100 pixel. It will move 100 pixel. Suppose if you say top, then it will consider this point as a reference point. From here, it will move 100 pixel. If you say bottom, then it will consider this line as a reference point. Okay, so it will consider its original left, right, top, bottom position. From there, it will move. If you assign position value as a relative, position value as a relative. Is it clear? Is relative position clear for everyone? Okay, so basically positions is all about just moving your elements from left, right, top, bottom, just changing its actual position. But to change actual position, we have to consider something as a reference point. So here, if you assign position as a relative, then I have explained what your browser will consider as a reference point and from where it is going to move. Now, if I say absolute, if I say position absolute, okay, let's come back to the absolute. Okay, absolute. Now, if I say element as an absolute, the first point, your element will not display as per normal flow of document. Element will not display as per normal flow of document. Now, what is the meaning of this? Let's try to understand. Element will not display as per normal flow of document. Now, let's suppose I will just copy this. I will change its value to something like relative. Now I will create one more file, absolute.html. I will copy the same code. I'm just copying the same code as it is, and I will remove this position value. Okay, here let me keep relative. Let me close this. Okay, let me open this document in my browser. Now we have same thing. Now let's suppose before this div, I am adding one h2. Okay, here I am saying like, okay, absolute position. After h2, let's suppose I am adding one paragraph, something called lorem 100. Now, if you see this structure inside our container, I have one h2. After that, I have a paragraph. After that, I have a box. Okay. So if I go back to my browser, it will show like this. Absolute. Here I have paragraph. Here I have box. Okay. Now all my elements are displayed as per normal flow of document. Now for this box, I will assign position. And position value, I will say absolute. And if I go back here, now are you seeing any changes here? Are you finding any changes? Here, as of now, you are not finding any changes. Let me remove all this. Now, if I come back here, and if I say top 0, or if I say left, okay, let's consider left, I will say 100 pixel. Now, if I say left 100 pixel, now what will be its reference point? Anybody knows? So to understand that, let me add here body tag also. For body tag, let me add border. Border as something like 4 pixel solid red. And let me add HTML also. For HTML also, let me add border property. Maybe something like 5 pixel black I will add. Okay, let me remove this position for now. Now my UI is something like this. Okay, now here I have black. So here let me add something like 6. I have black, then I have body, then I have my container. After that, I have all these elements. Now, if I say here absolute, for box, if I add position absolute and save it. Okay, now see, here there is no change. Now, if I assign the value here, left 100 pixel and save it. And if I go back here, now see, where is my element? Now my element is here. My element was here. Initially, my element was here. My element was here. My box was somewhere here. But once I said, once I have given left 100 pixel, now my element is displayed here. Now, can you tell me, for this absolute element, what is the reference point? For this absolute element, what is the reference point? Because if you want to move this element 100 pixel left, then it should consider something as a reference point, right? From there only it will move. Now, anybody can guess this element consider which point as a reference point to move 100 pixel left? Okay, it considered your HTML, this element. HTML, nothing but this black color. So from here, it is moving 100 pixel. Suppose if I say 2 pixel, if I say 2 pixel left, if I say 2 pixel, or maybe I will say not 2 pixel, I will say 8 pixel. If I say 8 pixel left, now just check. Now see from here, 8 pixel. It is moving 8 pixel left. The width of your border is, here the width of your border is 6 pixel, right? For HTML, the width is, border width is 6 pixel. And here I am saying left 8 pixel. So 6 pixel will finish here. And from there, 2 pixel it is moving. If I say here 10 pixel, 10 pixel. Now see, your border is red, right? Red color is your body. But is it moving? It is considering body as a reference point, or it is considering HTML as a reference point? It is considering body as a reference point, or it is considering HTML as a reference point? Yes. By default, it will consider HTML as a reference point. Okay. So if I come back here, so let me clear this diagram. Yeah. So by default, by default, it will consider HTML element as a reference point. Why HTML element as a reference point? Because HTML element is the parent element. It is the parent element. Okay. Now, is our element is placing as per normal flow of document? Because as per normal flow of document, after paragraph, your image should, this box should come. And if we are saying move 100 pixel left, then it should move somewhere here. It means it should be after paragraph only, but it is not after paragraph. Suppose if I say top 0, if I say top not 0, I will say 10 pixel. Now see where your box will display. Your box is displaying here. And if I call left 0, now it will go on the left 0. So from top and from left. So now your element is not displaying as per normal flow of document. This is what the meaning of not displaying the normal flow of document. So element will not display as per normal flow of document. For more understanding sake, I will add here 8 pixel. So from top and from left. So by default, your element is considering, by default, it will consider HTML element as a reference point. Now suppose for the box, for this box, who is the parent? For this box, who is the parent? For this box, who is the parent element? For this div element, for this box element, who is the parent element? Parent element, parent element is container. Okay, for this box, parent element is container, because inside the container only we have placed this box. Now, if you want to make container as a reference point, if you want this element should consider its direct parent element as a reference point to move its position. If you want this box should consider its parent element as a reference point instead of HTML element. In that case, you have to make its parent element. This is parent element. Parent element position, we have to make like a absolute relative. We have to make parent element position as a relative. If you make parent element position as a relative, then this box will consider its parent element as a reference point. Now see, it is considering parent element as a reference point from top and from left. Now it is not considering HTML element. It is considering its parent element. Now suppose you want this box should consider its parent element as a reference point. I want this box should consider its parent. Its parent is container. Container parent is body. So now I want this box should consider this body element as a reference point. In that case, what you need to do? You have to make body element position as a relative. Now, if you go back here, now see, from here it is moving. This red color is body. So from here it is moving. So body is considered as a reference point. As a reference point. Okay. Now suppose if you make both as position relative, if you make direct parent as a position relative, its parent also if you make position as a relative, then it will give reference, it will give preference to first parent element. It will give preference to its first parent element, that is container. That is container. And if you don't assign position value for any one of the parent element, if you are not assigning position relative to any parent element, so for example, for this box, container is a parent. Suppose for container you are not assigning position, then who is the parent of container? Body. For body also if you are not assigning position, then it will look who is the parent of body, that is HTML. Then it will consider HTML as a reference point because we don't have any parent for HTML. Now see, here it is considering HTML as a reference point. Suppose if you say body, if you say body position as a relative, so for what this box will do, first it will check its parent element, container. So did we assign position relative to container or not? It will just check. So here we don't have position property for parent element. Then it will look its parent. It will look its parent. Who is the parent of container? Body. Then it will check body. Body element has position relative or not? Yes, we have. Then it will consider body as a reference point. Suppose if for body also if you don't assign position relative, in that case it will go to the parent of body, that is HTML. Now do we have any parent of HTML? We don't have any parent of HTML. In that case it will consider HTML as a reference point. Accordingly it is moving. This is how your absolute is going to work. Understood the difference between relative and absolute? How your elements are positioning if we assign position value relative or absolute? So did you understood that part? Okay, very important. In your interviews they will ask what is the difference between relative and absolute, because if you assign position relative or absolute you can move your elements. Then what is the difference between them? What is the difference between them? Okay, so absolute you have to work, so it depends upon the parent position value also. Absolute will always depends upon the parent position value. So no need to get confused. There are just two conditions. Suppose if you have an element, now to this element if you assign position as a absolute, if you assign position as a absolute, now this element you can move this element. To move this element we will be using that four properties: left, right, top, bottom. But to move our element we have to consider something as a reference point. We have to consider something as a reference point. Now how it will decide what should be the reference point? Now that depends upon, considering the reference point will depends upon its parent element. If you make parent element position, as a relative, then it will consider parent element as a reference point and from there it will move. If you don't make parent element position as a relative, in that case it will check parent element's parent. It will check the parent of parent. It will check parent of parent. This parent of parent has position relative or not. If it has a position relative, then it will consider parent of parent as a reference point. Suppose parent element also doesn't have position relative and its parent also doesn't have position relative, then it will just go for HTML element as a reference point. Reference point. Okay. So let me take one more example. Now you guys have to give the answer. So I'm just taking here something called task1.html. Okay, now first you understand the structure. I have a main container. Inside that I have sub1 container. Inside that I have sub2 container. Okay. Now here I will add one image element. Some width like 100 or something like 300 and height 300. Okay, let me add just one image. So let me grab some image. Okay, I will just grab some image from our previous example and I will paste here. Okay, now understand the structure. Inside the HTML, we have body. Inside the body, we have main container, then we have sub container, then we have sub2 container, then we have image. Now, if I ask you, who is the direct parent of image? If I ask you, who is the direct parent of image? What will be your answer? Who is the direct parent of image? Or who is the first parent of image? Nice. Who is the parent of main container? Who is the parent of main container? Nice. Who is the parent of body? Who is the parent of body? HTML. Okay, HTML is like first parent. It is the last parent you can consider. Okay, fine. Now let me add some styles here. Okay, so first of all, I will select star margin 0. Okay, now let's come back here. Now here I will select HTML. For HTML, I will add border. I will add border like 5 pixel solid red. Okay, now if I load this document and here let me add height also, something like 100 VH. So if I just go back and load this document, it looks something like this. Okay, this is our HTML, red color. Now I will select body. Okay, for body also, I will add border, something like 4 pixel solid black. Okay, let me add some margin like 30 pixel. Okay, and here height, I will say 100%. So I got like this. So instead of 100%, let's go with VH only. Or let me remove height. I remove height. Let's see how much it is taking. Yeah, it is taking something like this. Okay, here let me add 30 pixel. Let me add height, maybe something like 500 pixel. Yeah. Now I will select the main container. I will select main container. Dot main container. In the same way, let me select sub container. Let me select sub2 container. Okay, let me add the border. For main container also, I will add something like 3 pixel green. Okay, let me add some margin, something like 30 pixel. Height 100%. Yeah, we got like this. Okay, now we are adding margin, right? That is the reason it is going outside. Now let me go back and add these properties for sub container also, and for this also. Now here, let me just change the color, something like this. And here also, let me change the color to something like this. Okay, let me remove height. So can I add here 400 pixel? Here height 300 pixel. Here height 200 pixel. Okay, and let me make image 50, something like 80. Okay, I have just set up some ready. Okay, this is now HTML. This is body. Then we have main container, and we have here sub1 container and sub2 container. I think class I need to change. Here sub2 container I have to give. I have sub2 container. Understood this setup? Is it clear? First of all, is this setup clear for everyone? Okay, so now this red is HTML, black is body. Okay, then we have this green main container, sub container 1, sub container 2, then image. Okay, now I want to change the position of this image. I want to change the position of the image. So what I will do, I will select here image tag, and to this image I will add position as absolute. And here I am saying top. From top it should be something like 6 pixel, or something like 8 pixel, 10 pixel. And from left it should be 10 pixel. So for image, I am saying position as an absolute, and from top 10 pixel, and from left 10 pixel. It means from top it should move 10 pixel, from left it should move 10 pixel. Now can you tell me, this image element will consider which parent element as a reference point? Which parent element as a reference point? Okay, so whenever you make this image as an absolute, first it will check its own parent, first parent. It will check its direct parent, that is first parent. To this parent, did we assign position relative or not? So it will check sub2 container position is relative or not. No, it is not relative. Then it will check the parent of sub2 container. So the parent of sub2 container is sub1 container. Did we assign position relative? No. Then it will check its parent, that is main container. Did we assign position relative? Still no. Then it will check its parent, that is body. Did we assign here? No. Then it will check its parent, HTML. Did we assign position? Still no. Then it will check, do you have any parent? So we don't have any parent after HTML. So it will consider HTML as a reference point. Now if I save it, and if I go back here, now see, HTML is considered as a reference point. Okay. Now suppose if I say position as a relative, if I say position relative, okay, so let me remove this. First of all, let me bring it to its original position. I brought original position. Now here I am saying position as a relative. Now if I say left 30 pixel, top 30 pixel. Now this image will not consider its parent element as a reference point. It will consider its own position as a reference point. Now, if I say position relative, then it will consider its own position as a reference point. If I say absolute, then it will consider its parent element as a reference point. This is the difference. This is the difference between relative and your absolute. Now see, from here only it is moving from its original position. Okay. It is not considering parent element as a reference point. It is considering its own position as a reference point and it is moving. But if you say absolute, then it will consider its parent element as absolute. If you say position absolute, then it will consider its parent element as a reference point. Is it clear up to here? Anybody have any confusion up to here? Oh. Okay. Now let's suppose if I say this body element position as a relative. Okay. Now if I say body element position as a relative, and if I say for image position as a absolute, now I am saying left 30 pixel, top 30 pixel. It means now this element should move, image element should move. So to move image element, it should consider something as a reference. Now it will check its parent element, first parent element. Did you given position as a relative? No. Then it will check its second parent element, nothing but parent of sub2 container. Did we given position as a relative? No. It will check its parent element. Did we given main container as a position relative? Still no. Then it will check its parent element, body. Did we consider given position as a relative? Yes. Here we have assigned position as a relative. Now it will consider body element as a reference point. And it will move left 30 pixel, top 30 pixel. Okay. So from here 30 pixel, from top 30 pixel. Okay. So let me just reduce the value little bit. Suppose if I say 10 pixel, 10 pixel. Now just check. Now see, from body 10 pixel top, 10 pixel left. Okay. Now suppose if I say position relative for sub1 container. Now tell me, in this case, image will consider which parent as a reference point. Now I have added position relative to sub1. Now tell me, image element will consider which parent element as a reference point. Nice. Now suppose if I add position relative to this sub2 also, I have added for sub2 also, I have added for sub1 also. Now in this case, it will consider which parent element as a reference point. Yeah, it will consider sub2. It will consider its near parent element. Suppose if I assign position relative for all the elements. For all this element, I have considering position as a relative. Now in this case, now for HTML position relative, for body also, for main container also, for sub1 also, for sub2 container also. Now in this case, this image element will consider which parent element as a reference point. Nice. This is this sub2. Understood? If I don't assign relative position relative to any element, any parent element, then in this case, yes. If I go back, your HTML. Suppose I have one more image. Let's suppose I have one more image. Okay, let me add one more image. And let me just increase the size to 120, 120, I will say. Here also 120, 120. Okay, to both the images, I will assign some ID. Here I will say image 1. Here I will say image 2. Okay, I have taken 2 images. Now let me just change the image. So I will just grab some other image from our last session. Okay, I will add here. Let me just copy. Let me paste here. Okay, now I have 2 images. Now let me remove this image tag. Now if I go back to my browser, it looks like this. Image 1, image 2. Both are coming one beside another. Now if I select image 1 and if I select image 2 also, now for this image I am giving position as an absolute. For this image also I am giving position as an absolute. And for this image also I am giving left, from left 10 pixel, from top 10 pixel. For this image also I am giving same value. I am giving same value. Now tell me, both the image will consider which parent element as a reference point. Both the image will consider which parent element as a reference point. Now, if both are considering HTML as a reference point, then do you think that that image will come one after another or image will come one beside another? Elements will display one beside another or they will display one after another? Now see, I'm able to see only one image here. Am I right? Where is another image? Where is my first image? Now suppose for first image, if I give top 40 pixel. Now see my first image here, backside. Here is my first image. Okay, this is my first image. This is my second image. Now my images are displaying like this. Now my images are displaying on one another. This is first image. Then on the top of this image, it is displaying another image. Another image is displayed on the top of that image. That is the reason we are not able to see our first image. Because why? Because they are not displaying in the flow of document. Flow of document means they should display in the sequence. But if you make position absolute, they will not display in the flow of document. So whatever position you have given, they will display as per position only. If you say 10 pixel, 10 pixel, they will come one on other. Now see, one on other. Now my image 1 is the back of this image. Back of this image. Suppose if you want to see your first image, now your images are displaying like this. First image is displaying, then on the top of that, another image is displaying. Now I want to do like this. I want to make second image back. I want to give second image back. On the top of that, I want to keep my first image, so that my first image will be visible. As of now, your first image is displayed like this. On that, your second image got displayed. That is the reason you are able to see only second image. You are not able to see the first image, because on the top of first image, your second image display. But now what I want to do, this second image, I want to move back, and on the top of that, I want to bring my first image. So how can we move our element top, back, top, like front, back, front, back? How can we move? So for that, we will be using one more property called z index. Something called z index. And by default, all element z index value will be 0. If you increase the z index value, then those elements will be on the top of another element. Suppose I have here two elements, element 1, element 2. Now by default, the z index value, by default, for this element z index is 0. For this element also z index is 0. Now if I say z index, here if I say z index 1, now for this element, the z index value is higher, then this element will come on the top of this element. Suppose if I made z index of this element as a 3, then this element will come on the top of this element. Now just check here. Now both are displaying. Our first image is in the back, second image is on the top, nothing but in the front. Now if I make this first image z index as 1 and save, now see, I got my first image. Now if I say here z index 3, now second image came. Suppose I have one more image element. Now here I will add one more image. Okay, I will make this as a 3, ID 3. Now I have 3 images. Okay, for third image also I will add same styles. Okay, let me remove this z index value. I'm removing z index value. Now how your images will display? 1, 2, 3. How your images will display? So first image will display like this. On the top of that, second image will display. On the top of that, third image will display. So as a user, which image will be visible to us? Which image will be visible to us? The image which is in the front or on the top. Okay, so if I go back here, now see, third image is displayed. Now if I make image 2 z index as a 1, by default for this element z index is 0, for this also z index is 0, but for image 2 I told z index is 1. It means z index value is higher than image 1 and image 2. It means now image 2 will be displayed. Now see, image 2 is displayed. Okay, now if I increase the z index value of 1 to something like 3, now which image has more z index value? Image 1. So image 1 will be displayed on the top. Now image 1 is displayed on the top. Now if I increase the z index value of image 3, if I say 10, now tell me which image has more z index value? Out of these three, which image element has the index more z index value? Image 3. So it will be displayed on the top. Now see image 3 here. Now tell me which image will display? Which image will display now? Yes. Image 1. Okay, understood about the z index concept? So basically all your elements will be placed in the stack. Internally, they will use stack data structure. They will place all the elements. Now they will compare the z index value. Which element z index value will be more, that image they will keep on the top. Nothing but in the front. So the element which is in the front, that will be shown to the user. Now if I change position values, suppose if I say left 10 pixel, if I say here left 50 pixel, if I say left 100 pixel. Now let's see how it will display. Image 1, image 2, image 3. Sorry, here it should be 100 pixel. Okay, let me just add more, maybe 150. Or let me add more, 200. Now see image 1, image 2, image 3. For this image 2, let me make 100. Now see image 1, image 2, image 3. Now if you see image 2 is in the back, it is the back of image 2 is the back of image 3 and image 1. If you observe image 2, image 2 is in the back. It is in the back of image 1 and image 3. And your image 3 is the back of image 1. So first image 1 is displayed, and in the back of image 1, image 2 is displayed, image 3 is displayed, and in the back of image 3, image 2 is displayed. Now, if I show you something like this, profile cards, some of the designs. Okay, let me show you one of the design. Yeah, this design. Okay, and if I open this design, now see how this image is circle and how this is coming on the top of this background. Are you able to guess how this image is coming now? How this image is coming? In the same way, I think I can go back. Now this image. Now how they got black color circle in the back and this image face is on the front? Or if I go for this, are you guys able to guess how this face came in the front and that image, this box, pink color box, went in the back? Now here, which concept they might have used? Which concept they might have used? Position concept, position with z index. Okay, position z index will work with position only. Okay. Yeah. This is about your relative and absolute. Now we have one more called sticky. Or let me go with fixed. First, let me explain fixed. If you say fixed, if you use this fixed, then your element will be fixed at particular position. If you use position as fixed, and if you assign some top, bottom, left, right, then that element will be fixed at that particular position. If you scroll your page, that element will not move. That element will not move. Okay, element will not move. For example, if I go to this home.html, if I open this document, okay, let's suppose somewhere here I want to fix one WhatsApp icon. I want here one WhatsApp icon image. So for that, what I want to do, I will just get one image here, WhatsApp image. Okay, let me just grab some image, copy image link. I will add one image here. Maybe somewhere I will add here. So width, I will add something like 70, height 70. Now here I am adding that WhatsApp image icon. Okay, now see, your image is displayed somewhere here. So let me remove from there and let me place on the top. Maybe from here. Can I remove? And can I place somewhere here? We got here image. Now this image, I want to convert like a circle. So just I will give here ID equals to WhatsApp. I will select this image. And border radius, I will just give like 50%. Now we got that image in the circle. Now this image, I want to move here. I want here. I want somewhere here. So what can I do? I need to write position, relative, or I will go with position fixed. And I will say right. From right, 0 pixel. Now see, image is displayed here. So if you say position fixed, then your element will consider reference point as your HTML element. Your fixed position will consider reference point as a HTML element. So this point you have to remember. Fixed position will also consider reference point as a HTML element. That is the reason it is moving from here. So our HTML element will start from here and it will end here. So for HTML element, this is the right. So from here it is moving. Now see, or here I will just say 10 pixel, right 10 pixel. Now from right it is moving 10 pixel, or else I will just make it 30 pixel. Now we got 30 pixel. I will decrease the size of that image. Maybe 50 I will say. We got this image. Now I want to move from top. So I will go back here. So from top, I will consider something like 500 pixel. Let's see where it will display. Now it is displayed somewhere here. Maybe little bit more. 530. Yeah. Now my image got here. Now see, my image is displayed here. Okay. Now Z index value. I will add Z index. I will say 10. Now it will be on the top. It will be on the top in this stack. Now if I scroll, now see that image is not moving. This image, this WhatsApp icon image is not moving. Now this is what your Ashok IT people also did. If you go to Ashok IT, now here they have WhatsApp button. They have placed here. Now if you scroll, that WhatsApp icon is not moving. But if you see, all these images are in the background of, they are in the back of that WhatsApp image. They are not coming on the top of that WhatsApp image. Back of top image. Now suppose if I use z index value -1, in that case what happens? My WhatsApp image will be in the back, right? It will be in the back. Now see, my image, my content is on the top of my WhatsApp image. Are you able to see? My content is on the top of my WhatsApp image. It doesn't look good, right? The content is coming on that top of WhatsApp image. So I want my image, that WhatsApp image should be on the top. Nothing but it should be in the front. And this content should be in the back. So here we will assign z index value. Some value we will assign. More than any element z index value. So randomly I have added 10. Now if I refresh, now see my content went back. Same thing here also they did. Here also we are doing. Now this cursor right here, you are able to see the cursor, but as I scroll up, I'm not able to see that cursor. Okay, that is because of your JavaScript we can do. With JavaScript we can do. Fixed means your element will be fixed at particular position. If you scroll, your element will not move. Your element will not move. Okay. In other positions, your element will move. If I scroll, your element will move. See, your element is moving here. This element is moving. If I just add more height, suppose for this, if I add more height here, maybe something like 1500 pixel. Now I got scroll bar. Now my element will move. My element will move. Okay. But if you say fixed, your element will not move. It will fix at particular position. If you scroll, your element will not move. That is your fixed. And the reference point will be HTML element. Okay. In the same way, you have one more, that is sticky. Sticky is the combination of relative plus fixed. Sticky is the combination of relative plus fixed. What is the meaning of that? Initially, the element will be relative. Initially, element will be relative. Then it will be fixed. And after certain position, element will be fixed. Initially, element will behave like a relative. After certain position, element will be fixed. That is called sticky. So if I go back to any browser, like any website, like Ashok IT website only. Now this section, this particular section, this section they have made as a sticky. Just observe here, if I scroll, it is working like a relative. It is moving from its original position. But once it reaches at certain position, then it will be sticked on the top. It will be sticked on the top. Okay. If you go to some other websites like Tutorial Point, here also I think you will get. Yeah, here also they have added same functionality. Okay, same thing I want to do for our site also. So we have developed this page, right? So let me just remove all this. Now here I want to add one container. Before this nav bar, I want to add one more container, something like this. I will go to this home.html. Here I will add main header. Okay, inside this, I will just add one h2 and I will say welcome to CSS positions or welcome to e-commerce site. Enjoy the shopping. Okay, something I have added header. Welcome to e-commerce site or welcome to my site, something like that. And enjoy the shopping. Now to this main header, I want to add some styles. Main header, I will add some styles. Like I will increase the height to 80 pixel. Background color, I will add something like light gray. Okay, light slate gray, something. Color, I will make white. Okay, let's see how it looks. If I go back here, now see I got here like this. Okay, let me make it h1. Save my file. I got something like this. Now this content I want exactly in the center. So how to bring that content exactly in the center? We can make display flex. Display flex. Justify content center. Align item center. Not main container, I need to do for main header, right? Okay, I'm adding in the wrong place. Here I have to add. Now it will come in the center. Okay, if you want, you can just change the color to something like corn silk. Okay, now I got this this scroll bar. Like if I'm moving my scroll bar, I want my header. This header should stick here. If I'm moving, my header should move, but once it reaches on the top, I want it should stick here, and remaining content should go from the back of my header. I want something like that. It means this header, I want it should be stick at the top 0. So if you want this element should stick at particular position, then we will go to that header. This is our header. For this header, we will add position as sticky, and where you want it should get sticked on the top 0. So on the top 0, I want my element should be sticked. So if I save it, if I just scroll, it will move. It will move. Once it reaches top, it got sticked there. It got sticked there. Suppose if you want, it should stick from the top 50 pixel. So once it comes to the 50 pixel, from top 50 pixel, at 50 pixel, it should get sticked. Now if I go back, if I just scroll, now see it got sticked. Now from top, it's like a 50 pixel. So now it's your wish where you want your element should get sticked. I want it should stick at top 0. So I will make it top 0. Now if I scroll, it reaches top, it got sticked. This is your position sticky. And in position sticky, your element will consider its own position as a reference point. It will consider its own position. Okay, because it will move from its own position only. If you scroll, sticky, fixed, absolute, relative, and static. Static means by default all elements are static. It will just not move. It will be at one place only. That left, right, top, and bottom will have no effect. They will have only effect on relative, absolute, and fixed and sticky. So in lot of interviews, they will ask these two questions. The first question is difference between relative and absolute. Next question they will ask difference between fixed and sticky. These are the two famous interview questions. So they never asked what is the difference between fixed and relative. They will never ask what is the difference between fixed and absolute. They will never ask what is the difference between sticky relative, sticky absolute. They will ask these two questions only, because logically these two questions are very, very important. And that makes sense to ask this question. Difference between relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky. They will ask what is the default position of your element. Can you explain me how relative will work? Can you explain me how absolute will work? If they ask about absolute, you have to tell all these scenarios. All these scenarios you have to tell. Then they will ask, what is the effect of Z index property in your position, on your position property? What is the effect of Z index property on position property? Can you explain me? Can you explain me with one scenario? Or they will ask, did you develop any projects? You will say, yes, I have developed XYZ projects. Then they will ask, can you explain me how did you use fixed property or fixed position property in your project? If you have used, tell them that, yes, I have used, and just tell them the scenario where you have used fixed. They can tell you, can you tell me the scenario, or can you tell me how did you use sticky inside your application or inside your projects? Or they can ask related to relative and absolute also. So this kind of questions will come in your interviews. Is it clear, guys? Are you guys clear with all these position values? Absolute and static. Okay. Yeah, Sachin. Okay. Sticky will work initially as a relative, then it will be fixed. Means it will move till certain extent, and at that position it will get fixed. It will move little bit, and at particular position it will get fixed. So sticky is just a combination of relative plus fixed. Now see, this element is moving, but at particular position it got fixed. This is your sticky. This is your fixed. Okay. Yeah. Now in tomorrow's session, tomorrow we don't have any session, guys. Our next session will be on Monday. Okay, I'm not available Friday, Saturday. So our next session will be on Monday. So from Monday, what I will do, I will start with JavaScript. Okay, I will take sessions on JavaScript for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 days I will take JavaScript session. And then on Friday, Saturday, And if possible on Sunday also, I might take session Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And all these 3 days, I will take CSS topics. Whatever topics are pending, that I will cover. So next week plan, I'm just saying you guys next week plan. So next week, from Monday, we will start with JavaScript. Okay. And on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will cover CSS remaining topics. Whatever topics are pending, I will cover all those topics. Okay. On Sunday, timing might differ. Timing might be in the morning. So anyways, whatever the timing will be, I will let you know. I will let you know on Friday only. On Friday, I will let you know what will be the timing of Sunday. Is it clear, guys? So next session will be on Monday. Next session is on Monday. We will start with JavaScript. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I will take JavaScript. So we will finish the basics of JavaScript. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will take CSS. Again, from next Monday, I will start with advanced JavaScript. Advanced JavaScript. Okay, in 4 days, we will finish basics and then we will start with advanced JavaScript, advanced concepts of JavaScript. Is it clear? Use cases can be random examples also, or it can be your project also. If you explain related to your projects, that will be more effective. In case if you haven't used in your project and you know certain use case, then you can explain that use case. Okay. So JavaScript will be around 15 to 20 sessions, guys. Around 15 to 20 sessions I will take on JavaScript. Okay, we will more focus on advanced concepts of JavaScript. Basics of JavaScript. Basics of JavaScript means what are variables, data types, operators, selection statements, loops. Those are basics that we can cover within 4 days. If we are not able to cover, then we will extend. But I think we can cover in 4 days. Once we have done with basics of JavaScript, then we will move into the advanced concepts of JavaScript. So once you are good with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, whatever I have taught, then you are welcome to go any advanced technologies like React, Angular, Vue, Node, Express, MongoDB. You can move to anything. You can move after basics of JavaScript only. You can start learning React once we have done with the basics of JavaScript. But to understand entire React, we have to know advanced concept also. But like your Angulars and React, like initial first week or 10 days, they will teach only basics, right? But once they enter into advance of React or advance of Angular, by that way, we will finish our advanced JavaScript also.